Beneath the rugged cliffs of Maharashtra, India, lies a masterpiece that defies time, logic, and even gravity. The Kasha temple isn't just carved into stone. It's carved from the stone, chiseled downward into solid basalt with surgical precision. No cranes, no blueprints, no written record of how it was done. Just there. This temple is part of Ellora, a haunting complex of cave temples that stuns archaeologists even today. How, in a time with no modern tools, did ancient builders move mountains one impossible stone at a time? This isn't just architecture. It's a message from a lost era. But the Kasha temple is only one of many. Across the globe, scattered like puzzle pieces from forgotten civilizations, are structures that whisper secrets we still don't understand. Some rise from the jungle. Others lie buried beneath desert sands. All were built by hands we can't name, and for reasons we may never fully grasp. The ruins of Attusa tell us the Hittites lived in Turkey 3,500 years ago. Yet their advanced cities, with their massive gates and mysterious hieroglyphs, feel far more futuristic than ancient. Who taught them to build this way? In northeast Scotland, a buried piece of Stonehenge was found, dragged across impossible distances. Why? What did it mean? Who ordered the journey? Peru's Nazca lines stretch across the desert, visible only from the sky. Giant glyphs carved into the earth with no way to see them from the ground. Was it art, astronomy, or something else? Mexico's ancient rock carvings still pulse with energy, etched into cliffs as if left by a culture that spoke through stone instead of words. Each one of these mysteries isn't just a question. It's a confrontation, a reminder that we don't know everything, that some civilizations were capable of feats so advanced, they still make our smartest minds pause. These weren't primitive people. They were engineers, artists, and visionaries. But their stories were never written, only carved, hidden in stone, waiting. So now, we follow the trail they left behind, from India to Peru, from Turkey to Mexico, and try to answer the unanswerable. Who built these wonders? How did they do it? And why did they vanish? Carved not brick by brick, but chiseled from a mountain, the Kailasa temple in India isn't just architecture. It's a miracle in stone. Hidden within the Ellora caves of Maharashtra, this colossal shrine to Lord Shiva wasn't built. It was sculpted downward from the top of a single rock. Imagine the vision, the audacity. In the 8th century, during the reign of King Krishna I, ancient engineers began at the summit of a mountain and slowly removed over 200,000 tons of solid basalt. No cranes, no modern machinery, just human hands and iron tools, carving a temple that seems almost impossible. What emerged is breathtaking, a freestanding complex standing 108 feet high, stretching 148 feet long, and nearly 100 feet wide, complete with courtyards, columns, and countless sculptures, all from one unbroken slab of stone. Every stair, every wall, every sculpture, one continuous masterpiece. At the center towers the sacred Shikara, the spire that rises like a mountain peak, echoing the legendary Mount Kailash, the mythical home of Lord Shiva. One striking sculpture shows the demon king Ravana attempting to lift this holy mountain, symbolizing the divine power rooted in the temple's name. But this isn't just a shrine to Shiva. The walls breathe with stories. Vishnu in battle, Lakshmi seated in grace, celestial beings dancing across a stone. It's a fusion of faiths, ideas, and imaginations from a golden era of Indian art. How was this done in just 20 years? Some believe thousands of artisans labored day and night. Others whisper divine help, because to the naked eye, it doesn't look humanly possible. The Kailasa temple isn't just a place of worship. It's a message carved across time, a declaration of genius, devotion, and spiritual ambition. A silent titan standing tall for over 1,000 years, reminding us that even mountains can become temples when vision meets will. Before the rise of the Aztecs, before the mighty empires we know today, there was Teotihuacan. Just 31 miles northeast of modern-day Mexico City lies a place once pulsing with power, faith, and mystery. Teotihuacan wasn't just a city. It was one of the largest metropolises of the ancient world, with as many as 200,000 people walking its wide avenues nearly 2,000 years ago. Established around 100 BC and thriving until 600 CE, It was the beating heart of a civilization whose name we still don't know. But their legacy, it towers above us. The Pyramid of the Sun, a monumental structure rising over 213 feet, stands as one of the tallest pyramids on Earth. Its stone steps once led worshippers skyward, perhaps in honor of solar gods, perhaps to connect with something even more divine. Nearby, the Pyramid of the Moon, slightly smaller but just as majestic, gazes silently toward the sacred mountain. Together, they form the spiritual axis of this ancient metropolis. And then there's the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, a serpent's head emerging from stone, surrounded by intricate carvings and hidden tunnels. This temple wasn't just ceremonial, it was political. Surrounded by elite residences, it echoed with power and control. Teotihuacan's layout was no accident. Its grid-like design spread across nearly 20 square kilometers, a model of urban precision and cosmic alignment. Trade routes connected it to distant lands, from the jungles of the Maya to deserts in the north. Obsidian tools, painted murals, fine ceramics. They all whispered a city rich with culture, commerce, and influence. But then, silence. Around 600 E, the city began to crumble, not from invasion, but from something else. Perhaps rebellion, climate, or decay from within. No one knows for sure. When the Aztecs stumbled upon its ruins centuries later, they didn't try to claim it. Instead, they named it the place where the gods were born. Teotihuacan remains just that, a sacred enigma carved in stone. A city built by an unknown people, whose echoes still rise from every step, every shadow, and every forgotten prayer buried in its dust. In the vast desert of northwestern New Mexico, surrounded by sandstone cliffs and endless sky, lies a canyon carved not just by wind and time, but by vision. Chaco Canyon. From 900 to 1150 CE, this barren land pulsed with life. It was the epicenter of a civilization now known as the ancestral Puebloans, a culture so advanced, so enigmatic, that its very ruins still echo with unanswered questions. Here, amid the silence, rise the remnants of great houses, massive stone structures unlike anything else in pre-Columbian North America. Pueblo Bonito, the crown jewel of Chaco, stood 5 stories tall, with over 600 rooms and more than 40 ceremonial chambers known as kivas. It wasn't just a building. It was a blueprint of a society built on order, complexity, and cosmic awareness. Because Chaco Canyon wasn't merely a place to live. It was a place to align with the stars. Every wall, every passage, every kiva, constructed with an almost mathematical precision. The buildings follow solar and lunar cycles. Their shadows mark solstices. Their corners point to cardinal directions. And then there's the sun dagger. High on Fajada Butte, a spiral carved into stone comes alive only a few times a year. On the solstices and equinoxes, a sliver of sunlight slices through narrow rocks, perfectly hitting the spiral. No instruments, no written language, just knowledge, passed down through generations, embedded in stone. And still, Chaco was more than an observatory. It was a network connected to distant lands through trade and tradition. Archaeologists have found seashells from the Pacific, copper bells from Mesoamerica, and turquoise from the mountains, each one a silent traveler, proof of a civilization that reached farther than its canyon walls. But then it ended. Around 1150 CE, the great halls fell silent. The reasons are lost in time. Was it drought? Was it depletion? Was it the unraveling of a fragile harmony with the land? Whatever the cause, the people left. But their legacy didn't vanish. Today, Chaco Canyon stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a monument not to collapse, but to achievement, to engineering, to culture, to a people who looked to the sky and found their place in it. Even now, scientists continue to explore its mysteries, uncovering new layers in a story still being written. Because Chaco Canyon isn't just about the past. It's a reminder that even in the harshest places, greatness can rise guided by the stars, rising from the misty plains of Wiltshire like silent giants frozen in time. Stonehenge is more than just a monument. It's a message carved in stone by hands long vanished, an ancient riddle staring back at us across 5 millennia. Built around 2550 BCE, This circle of towering stones is one of humanity's oldest unsolved mysteries. Who raised them? How did they move stones weighing up to 25 tons? Without wheels, without machines, dragging some of them nearly 200 miles from the mountains of Wales. And more importantly, why? These stones aren't just heavy. They're placed, deliberately, precisely, aligned with the rising sun on the summer solstice, as if the builders were syncing their souls to the rhythm of the cosmos. It's not just architecture. It's astronomy. It's ritual. It's something we still don't fully understand. Stonehenge is made of two kinds of rock: sarsen, a dense local sandstone, and mysterious bluestones, hauled over rugged terrain in an era when the wheel was barely known. That journey alone defies belief. Was this a burial ground? A temple to the heavens? A gateway between life and death? The surrounding landscape offers clues. Burial mounds, ancient tools, sacred objects, all pointing to something more than construction site. This was a ceremonial heartland, a place where life met the afterlife under the silent gaze of the stars. Yet for all our science, for all our scans and theories, the truth behind Stonehenge remains just out of reach, like a story whispered by the wind, never fully heard. Every year, the solstice draws crowds to this ancient circle, just as it did thousands of years ago. They come not for answers, but to stand in the shadow of something greater, something sacred, something eternal. Stonehenge isn't just a monument. It's a portal to the past, a reminder that even in prehistory, humans were reaching for meaning, for mystery, for the stars. And perhaps they still are. Rising from the heart of southeastern Africa is a city carved from stone, a city that rewrites the story of a continent. Its name is Great Zimbabwe. Long before colonial empires set their sights on African soil, this monumental complex was the epicenter of power, trade, and culture in southern Africa. Built by hand between the 11th and 15th centuries, Great Zimbabwe was more than a city. It was a statement, a declaration of ingenuity, sovereignty, and ambition by an indigenous civilization whose brilliance echoed across continents. At its height, up to 20,000 people lived within and around its stone walls, making it one of the largest and most advanced urban centers in sub-Saharan Africa. But what truly sets it apart is the architecture. The most iconic structure? The Great Enclosure, a towering ring of stone, 36 feet high, 820 feet long, built without mortar, yet still standing centuries later. Its sheer scale dwarfs the imagination. Inside, winding passageways, thick inner walls, and a mysterious conical tower leave archaeologists and historians still searching for answers. Was it a royal palace? A temple? A symbol of power? We may never know for certain. But we do know this. Its builders worked with purpose. And what they left behind was no accident. Great Zimbabwe wasn't isolated. It was connected to a vast global network. Chinese porcelain, Arab coins. These weren't accidental finds. They were proof of a thriving trade route stretching across the Indian Ocean, linking Africa to Asia and the Middle East. Gold, ivory, and cultural ideas flowed in and out of its gates, enriching a kingdom whose influence reached far beyond the horizon. And then, as swiftly as it rose, it faded. By the 15th century, Great Zimbabwe was in decline. Was it drought? Soil exhaustion? Political unrest? No one can say for sure. The city emptied. The walls stood silent. And for centuries, their story was buried, distorted by colonizers who refused to believe that black Africans could have created something so magnificent. But time tells the truth. Today, historians and archaeologists rightfully honor Great Zimbabwe as the work of the ancestors of the Shona people, a masterpiece of African civilization, a symbol of pride, a reminder that Africa's past is not a blank slate. It is rich, complex, and powerful. The stones may be weathered, but the legacy remains unshaken. This is Great Zimbabwe, a city of stone and a monument to the greatness that was always here. On a wind-swept plateau on the island of Gozo, just a stone's throw from mainland Malta, stand the bones of forgotten age, towering limestone walls, weathered by time but unbroken by it, guarding secrets older than the pyramids themselves. This is Gantija. Its name comes from the Maltese word for giant. Because for centuries, locals believed only giants could have built something so colossal. And when you stand before it, you understand why. These stones, some weigh more than 50 tons, were moved without wheels, without metal tools, and yet they were shaped, stacked, and aligned with breathtaking precision. Gantija isn't just one temple. It's a twin complex, a prehistoric sanctuary born in the Neolithic era, between 3600 and 3200 BCE. That makes it more ancient than Stonehenge, older than the Great Wall, a relic from a time when the line between myth and reality was blurred by mystery and belief. The temples follow a distinct cloverleaf pattern. Broad semicircular chambers, or apses, branch out like petals from a central corridor. It's a design seen nowhere else in the world, a sacred architecture whispering of rituals now lost to time. And what rituals they were! Excavations have revealed animal bones, shattered pottery, and burnt offerings, all pointing to ceremonies steeped in symbolism. These were no ordinary structures. They were living altars, sanctuaries where Malta's first people honored nature, fertility, and the great cycles of life and death. But who were these people? No names, no texts, only their stones speak for them now. But what they built speaks volumes. Without modern tools, they moved giants. Without blueprints, they crafted sanctuaries that still stand after 5,000 years. Their civilization remains an enigma, but one thing is certain. They were engineers, artists, visionaries. Today, Gantija is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Tourists walk its ancient paths. Scholars study its flawless joints. And all of them feel the same thing. Awe, because Gantija isn't just a ruin. It's a monument to human will. A legacy carved from rock, wrapped in legend, and echoing with the voice of a people who looked at impossibility and built anyway. Hidden beneath the hills of Zhejiang province lies one of the greatest unsolved enigmas of ancient China. Discovered not by scholars or archaeologists, but by villagers draining a pond in 1992. The Longyu Caves were never supposed to exist. No ancient texts mention them. No maps reveal them. And yet, they are real. 24 massive hand-carved chambers spanning over 300,000 square feet. Their walls smooth as silk. Their ceilings etched with perfectly parallel chisel marks that stretch from end to end. Who built these colossal structures? How did they do it? And perhaps most puzzling of all, why? Some experts believe the caves may date back more than 2,000 years, to the time of the Qin or early Han dynasties. But there's no hard evidence, no tools, no human remains, no inscriptions. Just silence, as if the builders erased themselves from history. The caves are geometric masterpieces, each one carved with mathematical precision, aligned with an almost obsessive attention to symmetry. Flat walls, sharp corners, massive interiors that plunge over 30 meters into the earth. And yet, despite being sculpted from soft sandstone, these caves have survived millennia without collapse, erosion, or structural failure. That kind of engineering? It shouldn't have been possible unless these were master builders, perhaps ones we'd never even heard of. But here's the strangest part. There's nothing inside. No statues, no carvings, no signs of ritual or war. Unlike temples or tombs, the Longyu Caves offer no narrative, no identity, no cultural fingerprints. Just vast, empty chambers carved with unfathomable skill. What could drive a civilization to invest this much effort into something they never spoke about again? Could these caves have been ancient reservoirs, secret meeting places, a lost city underground, or something even stranger, something we've yet to imagine? One thing is certain. Whoever built the Longyu Caves didn't want to be remembered. Or maybe they simply knew that one day someone would find them and ask the very questions we ask now. Today, the caves stand open to the public, but they offer no answers, just echoes of a forgotten era, of vanished people, and a masterpiece carved in stone by hands we may never identify. This is the mystery of the Longyu Caves, China's ancient riddle, still waiting to be solved. High on the windswept plains of the Bolivian Andes lies a riddle carved in stone, a place so precise, so enigmatic. It still baffles the modern world. This is Pumapunku, the door of the Puma, part of the ancient Tiwanaku civilization. Pumapunku was constructed over 1,500 years ago, long before the Inca ever rose to power. It's not just another ruin. It's a technological marvel frozen in time. Scattered across the site are colossal stone blocks, some weighing more than 100 tons. Yet they were somehow quarried, transported, and assembled with a level of precision that defies logic. No mortar, no metal tools, just perfectly interlocking stones so finely cut that not even a sheet of paper can slide between them. And then there are the H-shaped blocks, modular pieces, clearly designed to fit together like a puzzle, each one engineered with symmetry and purpose. This wasn't random. This was architecture built with vision. And something else. Knowledge far ahead of its time. But what was it for? Many believe Pumapunku was a sacred ceremonial site, a place where the Tiwanaku people reached out to the heavens through ritual and reverence. The scale alone suggests its importance. Yet earthquakes, looters, and time itself have left the complex shattered. Its original design lost in fragments. Without written records, we're left to interpret its meaning through silent stones. Still, recent discoveries are changing the narrative. Far from an isolated culture, the Tiwanaku civilization once spanned across modern-day Bolivia, Peru, and Chile, an empire of influence, innovation, and spiritual depth. Today, Pumapunku is more than ruins. It's a reminder that long before steel or skyscrapers, ancient engineers mastered the impossible. And somewhere in those stone blocks still lies a story waiting to be told.